Well, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for joining me here. I truly appreciate it. All right, Sioux Falls, you're probably getting used to this by now, but for 7 years, the Public Works team and yes, this mayor, we've been doing what we can to really keep Sioux Falls moving in a more efficient, more productive, and yes, still a safe fashion. We've shown you, example upon example of where there are these intersections in town that really just didn't make a lot of sense. Why did we have to stop? Why couldn't we proceed in a safe way? Because we'd look to our left, we'd look to our right, nobody's there, and yet we still can't go. This intersection right here, as you can imagine, being so close to City Hall, this is an intersection where this mayor stopped and then stopped again and then stopped some more and still couldn't proceed. And there were no pedestrians, no traffic, and it made no sense why we couldn't, as a city, keep moving. And so with that in mind, I reached out to Heath Hoftizer, along with the chief and Mark and others, and said, is there something that we can do to change this? Now, there's certainly some history with this intersection. Back in about 2000, there was a decision made by the leadership team at that time to, put a no-turn on red signal along with signage. But Sioux Falls, as you know, times also change and things change. And this intersection is dramatically different than what it was back in 2000. The traffic count is different, the pedestrian count is different, and we're also hungry to keep moving. And so that's what we're doing here today. We're going to celebrate as a city another intersection in town where we're going to be allowed to keep moving in a productive way, as well as in a safe way. What I'm going to do, though, before I hand it over to Heath and to the chief, Sioux Falls, I'm going to reach out to you one more time. Where are those intersections in our city that absolutely make no sense in terms of why do we have to stop so long here? Why isn't there a flashing yellow light here, or at least a flashing red light here? Or, why isn't there you can keep moving as long as pedestrians are not present? So Sioux Falls, if you've got examples like that, let Heath know, let Mark know, let the chief know, let the mayor know, and let's get it changed so that we can ultimately keep Sioux Falls moving. I do want to introduce the brains behind this decision, who did all the due diligence before we proceeded, and he knows traffic engineering, he knows how this all works, and he's the man in charge. His name is Heath Hoftizer. Heath, thank you.
Thank you. Hi everybody, I'm Heath Hoftizer, the principal traffic engineer for the city. So the mayor, we had conversations and he challenged us with taking a close look at the intersections like 10th and Minnesota and seeing what we could do with those intersections. And so at this particular location for 10th and Minnesota, 11th and Minnesota, we started really digging into just looking to see what kind of data we had on them and what was going on at them. And one of the first things that really jumped out at us was that we saw that for the pedestrians, there's currently at the intersection here of 10th and Minnesota, 35% of the pedestrians that we saw at the location over a decade ago. And with that large decrease in pedestrians, we started looking at what could we do to improve right turn efficiencies at the intersection, but still keep pedestrians safe and try to protect pedestrians. So after looking at a couple different ideas and thinking about what we could do, we made the decision to change the signs at this location from the no turn on red that were present to the no turn on red when pedestrians present signs that we put up this morning. We've put up these signs at other locations around the city of Sioux Falls, and we've had a lot of success with them. So it's something that we think will work. It's something that we encourage drivers to look for pedestrians to try to keep the intersection safe, but we think that it can be a good thing. Let's see. One of the things, having the no turn on red when pedestrians are present improves the capacity of the right turn lanes at the intersection. Improving the capacity of the right turn lanes actually allows for us to increase the lead pedestrian interval from 4 seconds to 6 seconds to provide an even slightly longer time for the pedestrians to safely get out into the intersection in front of traffic to help get across safely. So that's something that we found encouraging from studies that we did on this. And then we started digging into the intersection with the increase in the lead pedestrian interval. With the changes, we started modeling what's it going to do at these intersections, what kind of delays, what's going to happen. And we found that we're going to see there's 70,000 vehicles a day that use 10th in Minnesota and 11th in Minnesota. And we found that those vehicles are going to experience 19 hours less delay each day from the changes that we've made here. And during the off-peak time, so like in the middle of the day or later at night, on average, the right turners are going to see a 22-second decrease in how long they had to wait at the intersection with the change that we're looking at. While we were looking at this too, we also took a close look at the crashes at the intersections and what's been happening. And we found for the 5-year crash trend at these intersections going back to 2005, we're actually, we've seen a decrease of 45% in the number of crashes. We're seeing a continual decrease in the number of crashes at these intersections. So with these changes that we've made, that's something we'll continue to monitor crashes at the location and look for opportunities to make these intersections more of a complete street for everybody as they come up. It's important to remember that these changes will provide considerable delay reductions for right turning vehicles, but drivers will also need to look for pedestrians before making turns. And with that, I'd like to introduce the Chief, Burns, and he has a few remarks for you.
Thank you, Heath, and thank you, Mayor.
Welcome.
When this was proposed to us, one of the things that we had in mind was we don't accept that you can't make an intersection more efficient and it has to be less safe. So you look at the data, you look at your crash data and your pedestrian data, and you just apply, common sense. You apply a philosophy of trying to be a little bit progressive and do the right thing for the city. And at the same time, you want to keep it safe. So how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to have officers monitoring this intersection, monitoring the others that we plan to make this change at, and just enforce where appropriate. But we want citizens, pedestrians, drivers to know that it's not the sign that makes a difference. It's not the light that makes a difference. It's them paying attention, having their head on a swivel, seeing are there pedestrians, what's the traffic look like, and voluntary complying with the traffic control device and the signs. So nothing is going to change the fact that folks still have to pay attention and obey the law. But we think we can do that and make this intersection better and more efficient. So I just want to thank the mayor and thank Heath for everything that he challenged us with, and we're going to get there.